I'm one of those strange breeds, a union official who hates public speaking, so bear with me. The LHMU has a diverse membership. We cover low-paid service sector jobs, so childcare workers, cleaners, security guards, hospitality, home care, a broad range. I thought that I'd talk about how we are trying to build a positive relationship with progressive government and how we're using the Sydney Alliance to assist in that process. We have traditionally, like most unions, worked around issues. So we've been bargaining for rights that you talked about. We've been campaigning for better OH&S, but when we go out and talk to our members, the issues that we hear are the things that have been talked about today. It takes ages to get into the city. It costs a lot of money. I spend a lot of time doing that. How can I afford childcare? How do the childcare workers get a decent rate of pay? So those issues are broader than a traditional union way of dealing with things. So we had to think about doing things differently. The Sydney Alliance has been set up to try and combat that, to try and bring a voice back to civil society. It's an organisation of organisations, and so far there are 22 of us. It's a new way of doing things. We're trying to build things through relationships and not around specific issue-based campaigns like we've done in the past. And we're trying to build our relationships across a diverse range of organisations and basing that relationship on shared values. So far, and I'm not going to go through all of the 22 organisations, but we've got organisations from the community sector, like the Arab Council of Australia, the Asian Women at Work, Cypriot community. We've got faith-based groups, got the Uniting Church, the Catholic Archdiocese of Sydney and Parramatta, the Jewish Board of Deputies, and we've got a number of unions. We've got ourselves, the nurses, the teachers. A lot of unions are starting to get involved. And the methodology that we're trying to use comes from Saul Alinsky, that people might have heard about, and it's the Industrial Areas Foundation. But the difference that I'm finding is that it's about building that relationship first. So meeting with people and building strong networks, and that really is a long process, and we're only at the very beginning of that. Then the next stage is that we go and listen to our diverse members and hear how are they experiencing the issues we've talked about. And then we try and work out some solutions, and then we go and meet with our progressive government and ask them to implement those solutions. I thought that I'd maybe touch on a way that we've tried to do it in the LHMU and use school cleaning as an example. And graffiti is a big issue for our members. None of the chemicals will get those marks off the walls. School cleaning is a contracting industry, and what we find is that just creates a race to the bottom. You imagine you're hiring a cleaner, what do you need? You need some chemicals, you need a mop, you need a vacuum cleaner, you need a person. You can cut those person's wages, you can cut that person's hours, that's where the money is saved. So we wanted to do something different and to try and use some of those strategies we've been working on with the Alliance. So rather than go out and get a better vacuum cleaner and campaign for a pay increase, we've been trying to build relationships across Sydney with our school cleaners. We have so far built 20 regional organising committees, we're calling them, and those cleaners are people that want to get involved in their community. They already help out at the school. They're part of the community. Their kids went there, more than likely their grandkids now go there. We've listened to those cleaners, and we've found out what their issues were, and we decided that we wanted to get everyone together and we wanted to get a decision maker in the room. So we recently held a conference, and we were very lucky to have the Minister for Education, Minister Firth, come and talk to us. But we did something different. We actually asked Minister Firth to listen. And I wanted to tell you two of the stories that we asked Minister Firth to listen to. The first one was Anna. Anna cleans at Fort Street High. And she was really excited. She's been cleaning at that school for ages. And there's been some really great infrastructure spending happening. And we've got new outdoor learning areas that are being built. There's new computer labs being built. But what Anna asked the Minister was, how will a 21st century school get 21st century cleaning? How is the government going to make sure that that investment is maintained? Because if you just think about it practically, you've got a computer lab. You used to have a classroom, you now have a computer lab. It takes heaps longer to clean that monitor. The other story we heard was from Judy. So Judy works at South Granville. She's worked there for 32 years. She's worked as a school cleaner for 32 years, but she's worked at South Granville for 22 years. And Judy told Minister Firth that through that 22 years, she loves the school. She's been part of the community. She's seen the kids grow up through there. But she started as a government employee. Then that service was contracted out. She was 5 years with a company called Berkeley Challenge, 5 years with Tempo, 3 years with Menzies, 5 years with Tempo, is currently employed by a contractor called Broadlex and has been for the last 4 years, and that contract is now up for tender. As a result of that, Judy, who's had 22 years at the same site, doing the same job, has no access to long service leave. So most of us who have been employed in the same job for 22 years would have a nice lot of long service leave that we could use to either have a great holiday or we could use when we retire. But school cleaners, the most marginalised, cleaners are one of the most marginalised groups of workers in our society. We haven't given them the same conditions. So we said, what could a progressive government do to assist? It's really simple. We could set up a portability of long service leave scheme like we have in the construction industry, so that contractors have to pay, and if you move around, you get that long service leave. We could sign up to the Clean Start principles, and we're very hopeful that the New South Wales government will sign up very soon to Clean Start. And Clean Start actually is about when you spend government money procuring services, you make sure that there's some standards in that procurement policy. And we're really hopeful that, like the federal government, that the New South Wales government will do that too. So we're hoping that our work with our school cleaners and then with our community partners through the Sydney Alliance will mean that we can have a good conversation with progressive government, that we can start to make some changes, and that we can build that from the grassroots up and have a different voice and a stronger civil society. Thank you.